Elon Musk,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he's everywhere these days.
Yeah.
Not just launching rockets and, making electric cars,
Right.
but like fully like into politics now,
Oh, yeah.
actively commenting, stirring the pot,
For sure.
making a lot of people nervous, frankly.
It's interesting, isn't it, how he's sort of infiltrated
Yeah.
a space that usually kind of shies away from
Yeah.
figures like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, this is the guy who's built companies
Right,
that
yeah.
challenge like the fabric of whole industries.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
shaking things up is it's kind of his MO.
Yeah. And that brings us to, I think, the big question of this whole deep dive.
Okay.
Should you ever bet against Elon Musk?
Hmm.
He's controversial. He's unpredictable. He plays by his own rules. But if history tells us anything,
Yeah.
it's that the people who underestimate him
Right.
usually end up looking pretty foolish.
Yeah. I think there's something to that for sure.
So we're going to unpack kind of like the why of that. What are the strategies, the philosophies
Yeah.
that make him, such a force to be reckoned with?
Well, I think one thing that's really striking
Yeah.
is that Musk just doesn't seem to be playing the same game as everyone else.
Right.
He sets these audacious, almost impossible goals.
Uh-huh.
Colonizing Mars,
Yeah.
transitioning the world to sustainable energy,
Right.
where setbacks, like a rocket blowing up,
Yeah.
are viewed as just data points
Mhm.
on this much longer trajectory.
You're talking about that long game everyone's always talking about?
Exactly.
Like he's operating on a different time scale almost.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
I mean, think about SpaceX in the early days with the Falcon 1.
Right.
3 launches,
Yeah.
3 explosions.
3 for 3.
Most people, I think,
Yeah.
just call it quits there.
Right? Yeah, I mean, that would be it for most people, but not for Musk.
He somehow gets funding for a 4th launch, incorporates over 1,000 improvements
Why?
based on all those failures,
From those explosions, yeah.
and they achieve orbit.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
That level of persistence.
Yeah.
Taking what most people consider catastrophic losses
Right.
and extracting lessons from them.
Uh-huh.
That seems to be a
Yeah.
key part of his success.
The huge factor, yeah.
So it's not just blind optimism.
No.
There's real calculated risk assessment going on here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, because Tesla, let's be honest, was basically on life support back in 2008.
Oh, for sure.
Plenty of people were writing him off then, too.
Breathing him off, yeah.
So what's going on there?
Well, I think it's this incredible ability to pivot, to adapt when things go wrong.
Right.
So you have the X.com merger with PayPal.
Uh-huh.
Tesla, like you said, almost going bankrupt.
Right.
He somehow manages to turn these crises into opportunities.
It's pretty remarkable.
It really is.
And is it just luck?
I don't think so.
Or is it something more?
I think it's this willingness to take risks, calculated risks, but still, pour his own fortune into these ventures that a lot of people would consider reckless gambles.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then, what about that Model 3 production nightmare a few years back?
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping on the factory floor, trying to solve these problems.
Right.
I mean, that's not just risk tolerance.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, obsessive maybe?
Well, I think that incident really highlights
Yeah.
his hands-on approach.
Okay.
It wasn't just that he was present, right?
Yeah.
He was actually using his deep technical knowledge to make these on-the-spot decisions
Right.
that other people, frankly, couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't your typical CEO who just delegates and waits for reports.
So maybe this whole never bet against him thing
Yeah.
comes from the fact that he doesn't fit the mold
Right.
of a traditional leader.
Yeah. He's disruptive. He's unconventional.
First.
He's constantly pushing boundaries.
And he's also, a master of controlling the narrative.
Oh, interesting. How so?
So a Tesla recall, right?
Yeah.
That becomes a software update.
Uh-huh.
SpaceX explosion.
Yeah.
Rapid unscheduled disassembly.
He's got a way with words, that's for sure.
He does, yeah.
But it's not just spin, right?
No, I think he's genuinely transparent
Okay.
about the challenges.
Yeah.
But he frames them in a way that builds trust
Uh-huh.
and reinforces this us against the world feeling
Okay, yeah.
amongst his supporters.
So he's selling a vision, for sure.
Absolutely.
And he's really good at it.
He is.
But is it, all smoke and mirrors?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, take the Cybertruck unveiling, for instance.
Right.
The unbreakable glass shattering on stage.
Yeah.
That should have been a PR disaster.
For most people, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, Musk managed to turn it into a joke.
He did, yeah. And then he delivered the truck, what, years later?
Years later.
And the initial failure was largely forgotten.
It's amazing how he does that.
It is, yeah.
So was it like calculated risk-taking or just sheer luck?
I think it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, maybe.
But there's no denying he has this knack for landing on his feet.
He does, he does.
But let's talk about his resourcefulness, too. He doesn't wait for permission or handouts.
Yeah.
He just builds what he needs, even if it seems impossible.
Okay, yeah. Give me an example.
Well, look at SpaceX.
Okay.
When NASA initially wouldn't give him funding, he just built rockets cheaper than anyone else.
Wow.
Proved what he could do. And eventually won over the very people who doubted him.
It's like he thrives on proving people wrong.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that.
And it's not just rockets.
Right.
No, not at all.
When Tesla had, like, that bottleneck with battery production.
Right. He built those gigafactories.
Exactly.
Because no one else could meet his demands.
Right, right.
It's this, like, first principles approach.
Yeah.
Where he just breaks problems down
to their core.
To their absolute core.
Yeah.
And finds these innovative solutions.
I think it's this combination of, like, vision, resourcefulness, and, you know, almost like an audacious self-belief that makes him such a fascinating, compelling figure.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it also kind of raises concerns, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About his involvement in politics. Like, does that same approach really translate to the political sphere?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And something we're going to, like, dig into more as we continue this deep dive.
Okay.
But first, I want to talk about, like, the mental toughness that's required to handle the scrutiny and the pressure that come with his level of, I mean, success, notoriety.
Yeah, it's got to be immense, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you have to wonder if some of that mental toughness comes from his own experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't born into wealth and privilege.
No, not at all.
You know, his childhood in South Africa was reportedly quite difficult.
Yeah.
And he basically immigrated to Canada alone as a teenager.
Yeah, that's a big step.
Huge.
I mean, he's talked about, like, living on $1 a day.
Really?
During those early years,
Wow.
surviving on, like, hot dogs and oranges.
That's incredible.
That kind of resourcefulness and resilience, it's not something you learn from a textbook.
Not at all. It's learned through experience.
It seems like those early struggles might have instilled, like, a deep sense of self-reliance, willingness to take risks, and, like, a high tolerance for discomfort.
You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like he learned to thrive in situations where most people would just crumble.
And, you know, let's not forget the stories about him turning his house into a nightclub during college.
Oh, yeah, I'd heard about that.
Just to make rent.
It's wild, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Like, he just has this innate ability.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
To find these creative solutions to problems that other people wouldn't even consider.
It's pretty remarkable.
It's interesting to think about, like, the juxtaposition there.
Right.
Wild parties happening downstairs. Well, he's upstairs coding.
Yeah.
Working on his next project.
It's amazing.
It speaks to, like, his ability to compartmentalize.
I think so.
To focus on what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Even when surrounded by chaos.
Absolutely.
So you're painting a picture of someone who's, like, driven,
for sure,
ambitious,
definitely,
and maybe even a little bit.
A little bit what?
I don't know, reckless.
Maybe.
I mean, is that part of the never bet against him equation?
Yeah, it could be.
Does that risk taking extend beyond, like, just business ventures?
It's interesting because it's definitely a pattern we see throughout his career, right?
Yeah.
He's not afraid to challenge conventions or push the boundaries of what's considered acceptable.
Yeah.
And that can be, you know,
both
exhilarating and terrifying.
Depending on your perspective.
Exactly.
It's that, what is it, that Silicon Valley thing?
Oh, yeah.
Move fast and break things.
And break things.
But in politics,
right,
where the stakes are so much higher, does that same approach work?
That's a good question.
Or is it, like, potentially dangerous?
It's a valid concern for sure. Yeah. And his, you know, move into politics has only amplified those concerns, I think.
Yeah.
His outspokenness on social media, his sometimes, controversial statements.
Right.
It's definitely ruffled some feathers.
It has, yeah.
But it's also,
yeah,
garnered him this massive following.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People seem drawn to his willingness to, speak his mind, even when it goes against the grain.
Yeah.
He's tapped into this segment of the population who feel like their voices aren't being heard.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's a master, I think, at connecting with people, building a following, and shaping that narrative.
Right.
He understands the power of social media and uses it to his advantage.
But it's not just like tweeting provocative things, right?
No, not at all.
I mean, he's also actively involved in lobbying efforts, donating to campaigns,
right?
Even meeting with world leaders.
Yeah, his influence goes way beyond the tech world now.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him so, I don't know, fascinating and frankly a bit unnerving.
A little bit scary, yeah.
Yeah, he's like this wild card, this unpredictable force in a system that's used to playing by certain rules.
Yeah, yeah.
So are we saying that this never bet against Musk thing applies to politics as well? Or is this a whole different game?
Yeah, is this
where maybe his usual tactics don't work?
Yeah, is this where it all falls apart?
It's too early to tell for sure.
Okay.
But what we can say is he's not afraid to disrupt the status quo.
Right.
To challenge the established order.
And he has shaken things up, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But is that ultimately
a
good thing? Or a bad thing?
That's the question.
I mean, his critics say that these forays into politics are more about self-promotion than, genuine concern for the issues.
There's a valid point there.
Yeah.
His actions, a lot of the time, seem motivated by self-interest rather than, selfless public service.
Right. But his supporters would say that he's bringing fresh ideas.
Yeah.
A much-needed dose of innovation to a system that's, stagnant, out of touch.
Yeah, I've heard that argument.
And there's no denying, that he's raised awareness about issues.
Oh, for sure.
Like climate change.
Yeah.
Space exploration.
Right.
Whether he's the right person to lead on those fronts.
Whoa.
There's a whole other
question.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a complex issue.
It is.
No easy answers.
But what's clear is that his involvement in politics has added another layer of complexity in this whole never bet against Musk narrative.
It's like he's playing this multi-dimensional chess game where his moves often seem illogical or even reckless, but somehow they always manage to advance his position.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around sometimes.
It really is.
It makes you wonder, does he ever actually lose? Or does he just reframe losses as wins?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a question that we're going to explore further in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
But first, I think it's important to take a step back and look at the potential downsides of this never bet against Musk mentality.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, is it possible that his track record of success is blinding us?
Yeah, blinding us.
To the risks involved in his ventures.
That's a crucial question to consider.
Yeah.
Because while he's obviously achieved remarkable things.
Oh, for sure.
He's also made mistakes.
Right.
Miscalculated, faced setbacks.
Yeah.
He's human.
Right.
Despite the almost superhuman image he's cultivated.
And those mistakes,
yeah,
can have real-world consequences.
They absolutely can.
Not just for his companies, but for, the public as well.
The broader public, yeah.
For sure.
It's something to keep in mind.
It is. So we've been talking about this, never bet against Musk idea. And we've been, dissecting his strategies, this personality, this aura of invincibility.
This dose,
that he seems to have cultivated.
Yeah.
But does it, all boil down to just him?
That's a good question.
It's easy to buy into this idea of the, lone genius.
Yeah, the lone wolf.
But he doesn't operate in a vacuum, does he?
No. I mean, it's really important to remember the thousands of people working behind the scenes at SpaceX, at Tesla, all these other ventures. I mean, you have the engineers, designers, programmers, all pushing the boundaries of technology.
Pushing the limits.
Exactly.
And he might be the face.
Yeah.
The voice.
The figurehead.
Their contributions are essential.
Absolutely essential to his success.
Yeah, it's like an orchestra almost, right?
I like that analogy.
He might be the conductor.
Yeah.
But without the musicians.
Right.
There's no symphony.
There's no music.
And beyond the employees,
right?
I mean, there's this whole ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
Of investors, government agencies, even like social media influencers.
Yeah.
Who are amplifying his message.
Oh, right.
Contributing to his success.
He's really good at leveraging those external resources.
Give me an example.
Well, I mean, think about SpaceX's contracts with NASA.
Okay.
Tesla's ability to attract, like, billions in investment capital.
Yeah, yeah.
He's created a brand that people want to be associated with, and that gives him incredible leverage.
And you also have to, like, consider timing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's often been in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Riding the wave of, like, the internet boom, the rise of electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Renewed interest in space exploration.
It's like he has this uncanny instinct for knowing what's next.
It really does feel like that sometimes.
It does.
So it's like a combination of factors.
I think
his own drive, his brilliance, obviously.
Right.
The teams that he assembles.
Yeah.
The resources he's able to attract.
Yeah.
And a healthy dose of just being in the right place at the right time.
A little bit of luck never hurts.
It makes you wonder, like,
yeah.
Could another Elon Musk emerge today?
That's a good question.
Are the conditions right for someone to, like, disrupt multiple industries and achieve this level of influence?
It's hard to say. I mean, the world's different now.
Right.
The barriers to entry in a lot of industries are higher.
For sure.
The competition is more fierce. The scrutiny is more intense.
Yeah.
It's tough to imagine someone exactly replicating his trajectory.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But maybe that just means the next, like, game changer, right? Needs to be even bolder, even more innovative, even more willing to challenge the status quo.
To push the boundaries even further.
Exactly.
So maybe they're out there right now,
Yeah.
quietly building the next groundbreaking technology, waiting for the right moment to, like, emerge from the shadows.
Yeah. Who does?
So as we kind of wrap up
this
deep dive into Elon Musk, where do we land on this never bet against him idea?
That's the million-dollar question.
Is it like a sound principle?
Right.
A dangerous delusion?
Yeah.
Or something in between?
I think it's like a cautionary tale.
Okay.
In a way.
How so?
Well, his track record might tempt us to think he's invincible.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's made mistakes.
For sure.
He's miscalculated.
Right.
He's faced setbacks. He's human.
Yeah.
Despite the almost superhuman image he's built up.
Right. He's not a god.
Exactly.
But he's certainly pushed boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Forced us to rethink what's possible.
Absolutely.
And sparked a lot of debates along the way.
Countless debate.
Whether you admire him, fear him, or just find him fascinating.
Right.
You can't deny his impact.
No, it's undeniable.
And as he keeps, expanding his reach, going deeper into politics, pushing the limits of technology, one thing's for sure.
What's that?
It's going to be an interesting ride.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Whether you're betting on him or against him, you can't deny the sheer audacity of his ambition.
It's really something.
And that, I think, is the most compelling takeaway from this whole deep dive.
What's that?
Elon Musk is a force to be reckoned with. A reminder that, like, in a world of incremental progress, sometimes it takes a radical, unconventional thinker,
a true disruptor,
to really shake things up.
Yeah, to really change things.
And whether he succeeds or fails, the ripple effects of his actions
absolutely
will be felt for, like, generations to come.
No doubt about it.
I mean, we've spent, like, a lot of time talking about Elon Musk's strategies, his personality, this aura of invincibility he has.
Yeah, the myth, of the unstoppable Elon.
But does it all, like, boil down to just him?
It's a good question.
It's easy to buy into the myth of the lone genius.
Oh, yeah.
The lone wolf, so to speak.
Right, changing the world all on his own.
But he doesn't operate in a vacuum.
No, not at all.
I mean, there are thousands of people working behind the scenes.
Right. I mean, you think about SpaceX, Tesla,
yeah,
all the other ventures. It's engineers, designers, programmers, pushing the boundaries of, what's possible with technology.
Pushing the limits.
Exactly.
And he might be, like, the face, the voice,
the figurehead.
But their contributions,
right,
they're essential to his success.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's like,
It's like what?
An orchestra, almost.
Okay, I like that analogy.
You know, he might be the conductor.
Yeah.
But without the musicians,
you got it.
There's no symphony.
No music.
And beyond the employees, there's a whole ecosystem.
Whole world, yeah.
Of investors, government agencies, even like social media influencers.
Oh, yeah.
Amplifying his message.
Right, exactly.
Contributing to his success in a way.
He's very good at, leveraging those external resources.
Like, give me an example.
Well, SpaceX's contracts with NASA.
Okay, yeah.
Tesla's ability to attract billions of dollars in investment. Like, he's created this brand that people want to be associated with.
Yeah, there's a certain cachet.
And that gives him, like, incredible leverage.
You also have to, like, factor in timing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He seems to always be.
It seems that way.
In the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Riding the wave of the internet boom. The rise of electric vehicles. Oh, yeah. This, like, renewed interest in space. It's like he's got this uncanny instinct for
what?
Knowing what's next.
It's almost like he can predict the future.
It really does.
It does, yeah.
So it's this combination, right?
I think so.
Of his own drive, his brilliance, obviously,
the
teams he puts together, the resources he's able to attract, and this, like, healthy dose.
Of what?
Of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Some people call it luck.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's more than that, I think.
I mean, it makes you wonder, like, could another Elon Musk emerge today? Are the conditions right for someone to, like...
To do what?
Disrupt multiple industries and achieve this level of, like, influence?
It's a tough question.
It is.
I mean, the world is different now.
Right.
The barriers to entry are higher.
Higher in what way?
In a lot of industries, the competition's more fierce.
Yeah, more cutthroat.
The scrutiny is more intense.
Especially for someone, in the public eye.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine someone replicating that trajectory exactly.
It does seem, I don't know, unlikely, maybe?
Yeah, but maybe that just means that the next...
The next what?
Like, the next big disruptor, needs to be even bolder.
Bolder in what sense?
More innovative, more willing to, like... challenge the status quo.
Push the boundaries even further.
Exactly.
So maybe they're out there.
Who knows?
Right now, like building, I don't know, the next groundbreaking technology.
Like some garage somewhere.
Waiting for the right moment to emerge.
Come out of the shadows.
So as we kind of like wrap up this deep dive into Elon Musk.
Yeah.
This whole, never bet against him idea.
Right. The big question.
Is it... like a sound principle? Is it a dangerous delusion?
Right.
Or is it something in between?
I almost think it's like a cautionary tale in a way.
Okay, how so?
Well, his track record might make us think, right?
Yeah.
He's invincible.
That he can't lose.
But he has made mistakes.
He's human, right?
Yeah, despite that image of, like, the superhuman that he's built up.
He's made mistakes. He's miscalculated. He's had setbacks, just like everyone.
And those have real-world consequences.
They do, yeah.
Not just for him, but for other people, too.
He's certainly pushed boundaries, right?
Absolutely.
Forced us to rethink what's possible.
Changed the game in many ways.
And... sparked a lot of debate along the way.
Oh, countless debates.
Whether you admire him, fear him, or you just, like, find him fascinating.
You can't deny his impact.
No, I don't think anyone can.
And as he keeps, expanding, going deeper into politics, pushing the limits of technology even further.
One thing's for sure.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, no matter what side you're on.
Exactly.
Whether you're betting for him or against him.
You got to watch and see what happens.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
No doubt about it.
And I think that's, like, the big takeaway here.
Okay, what's that?
Elon Musk is...
You said what?
A force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
He's a reminder.
Like a reminder of what?
In a world that often focuses on, like, incremental progress.
Slow and steady.
Sometimes it takes someone
who?
Radical, unconventional.
A true disruptor.
To really... shake things up.
To push humanity forward.
And whether he ultimately succeeds or fails.
The ripple effects.
The ripple effects are going to be felt for, like, generations to come.
No doubt about it.
So that's it for our deep dive into the Elon Musk phenomenon.
Thanks for having me. It's been fascinating.
Thanks for joining us.